Ever felt like understanding human culture is, well, like trying to crack some kind of secret code?
It definitely can feel that way sometimes.
Yeah. So today we're doing a deep dive into a classic, Clifford Geertz's The Interpretation of Cultures.
A really foundational text in anthropology.
Absolutely. And our mission here is simple. Give you a shortcut to understanding how culture really works. Not just a list of facts, but more like a living tapestry of meanings we're always interpreting.
Get ready for some, I think, quite surprising insights.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. Geertz. He really turned anthropology on its head, didn't he? Before him, it was often about, collecting customs, cataloging things.
Well, that was like butterfly collecting. You'd list the traits, the behaviors. But Geertz said, hold on, that's not enough.
Yeah.
We need to interpret what these actions mean to the people doing them. It's about understanding from the inside out.
So that brings us to his semiotic concept of culture. That sounds a bit academic. What's the core idea there?
Well, it's actually quite intuitive when you break it down. He famously said, humans are animals suspended in webs of significance they themselves have spun.
Webs of significance. I like that image. Like shared symbols, meanings.
Exactly. The shared understandings that shape our reality. So for Geertz, analyzing culture isn't like physics searching for universal laws. It's an interpretive science in search of meanings.
Okay. Less about finding the truth, more about understanding a particular truth.
Precisely. Understanding it from the perspective of the people living it.
So these webs, they sound complex. How do you even begin to search for meaning in something like that? How do you actually do it?
That's where his idea of dense description comes in. He borrowed it from the philosopher Gilbert Ryle.
Dense description. Okay.
Think about something super simple. Someone quickly closes and opens an eyelid.
Okay, like a blink.
Could be. Physically, it's just a muscle contraction. But is it an involuntary atic? Or is it a deliberate wink?
Right. Completely different meaning.
Totally different. A wink implies intention. A shared color may be secrecy, directed at someone specific. The physical act is identical, but the meaning, worlds apart.
And you could probably take it further, right? Like parodying a wink.
Exactly. Or rehearsing a parody. Each layer adds more meaning. Dense description is about digging into all those layers, the context, the intention, the shared codes, not just seeing the surface action.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Because Geertz doesn't just talk theory. He uses this incredible field note from Morocco back in 1912.
Oh yeah, the story of Cohen the merchant. It's quite a tale.
So Cohen, the Jewish merchant, gets robbed, sheep stolen. He doesn't go to the French colonial authorities instead.
He uses a traditional Berber system, the Mezrag Pact. Basically, he gets his local sheik, his landlord, to act as a protector and help recover the goods.
And it works. The sheik helps him track down the thief and get the sheep back. Traditional justice, kind of.
Kind of. But then the French step in. They'd forbidden these traditional pacts. They saw Cohen using the Mezrag not as, legitimate redress within his own system.
But as rebellion.
As defiance. As undermining their authority. So, what happens? They arrest Cohen and take the sheep away themselves.
Wow. So it's not really about the sheep at all.
Not fundamentally. It's what Geertz called a confusion of languages. You have these clashing cultural interpretations, Jewish, Berber, French, all seeing the same events through totally different lenses, different systems of meaning. A traditional act becomes, from the French view, a social farce.
That's powerful. It just shows how meaning is so tied to context, to the specific web.
And it shows culture is public. It's not just something hidden inside our heads. It's expressed in these shared symbols and actions, like he said, a Beethoven quartet. Its structure exists out there in time.
So these tiny details, a wink, a dispute over sheep, they can actually unlock huge insights about a whole society. These like small facts.
Absolutely. That's the core of his method. Anthropologists study in places. Geertz studied Balinese cockfights, for example, not just as gambling.
Right, but as something deeper.
As a symbolic drama about status, community, masculinity, even a kind of deep play where huge symbolic stakes are involved. Or think about Balinese trance ceremonies. People doing seemingly bizarre things like biting heads off chickens or stabbing themselves without harm.
Okay, yeah.
To understand those small facts, you need to grasp the large questions they relate to within that culture. Ideas about power, legitimacy, the sacred, community, identity. It's about getting access, deep access, to how others conceptualize their world.
Not about predicting the future, then?
No, not predicting. More about diagnosing, understanding the conceptual landscape people inhabit.
So wrapping this up, What does this all mean for you listening to this? Geertz tells us cultural analysis is always intrinsically incomplete.
Mm-hmm. Like that old story about the world resting on a turtle.
And then another turtle.
It's turtles all the way down. Interpretation is endless. There's no final word, no single equation for culture. It's an ongoing process.
Which is kind of fascinating, actually. Not frustrating.
It is, and it raises a big question for all of us, I think. If culture is this complex, layered, symbolic thing we interpret, how does that challenge your assumptions about universal human behavior?
Right. Do we all see a wink the same way? Is justice the same everywhere? Probably not.
Probably not in the way we might casually assume.
So here's a thought to leave you with. Think about the simple actions in your own daily life. At work, at home, with friends. What are the deeper layered cultural winks or tedics happening all around you? What surprising meanings might you uncover if you started trying to read them just a little more densely?